Hello everyone, my name is Lily and I'm the creative director here at Bubblegum Cartoons. Today I'm going to be redesigning Sophie's apartment from our wonderful soon-to-come web series Demonic Crepes, and I will tell you why at the end of this video, so stay tuned. A lot of these questions came from the Discord and our YouTube post. So these are some really good questions. So I want to dive right in. So here we go while I redesign Sophie's apartment. Croissant asks, where did you get the idea for Demonic Crepes? And this is a wonderful question. I got this idea my senior year of college when I took a graphic novels class, and I heard the questions and discussions from everybody in my class, and I kind of thought about what their lives were like and how that lifestyle is so different from being an animator like mine, and what that life would be like. So that kind of sparked the idea for Sophie being a manga artist. And it was just this one panel comic I did for homework once that was just like this joke about how cats are secretly devils and stuff like that. Like they'll smack stuff on the floor and things like that. So that evolved into Pancake, because I thought it was like the funniest name for a demon cat. You know, they would hate it. And then I looked around Pancake and I'm like, okay, the setting is super boring. It was just like in a suburban town. I'm like, this is boring. I don't care for the girl in the family. I don't really care about the family. I don't care about the location. This is so boring. So I'm like, okay, what would be the most exciting location? And I had just gotten back from my study in Japan, and I was like, I want to like emotionally visit Japan again and kind of write this love letter to Japan and everyone who was so generous and kind to me there. So I wanted to be set in Japan because it was very exciting, and I just honestly designed like the most beautiful girl that I wanted to draw over and over and over again, which is Sophie. That's where I got the idea for Demonic Crepes, and it really it was a process. Like, it didn't come all at once. Sometimes my ideas just snap and I know exactly what I want to do. But with Demonic Crepes, it really grew over time, and I feel like I'm still getting to know a lot of the characters and fleshing them out more and more. Connor Johnson has two questions. The first one is, are you a fan of Electric Light Orchestra? And yes, Mr. Blue Sky is actually my alarm ringtone. So it really gets me peppy for a new day. And I also like listening to it on summer walks. And are you familiar with the British animated series on Netflix called Hilda? I didn't know it was British. That's so cool. It's one of those I've been meaning to watch. And it's kind of on a very long list of things I have to catch up on. Beater asks, who was the easiest character to design? And that is definitely Sophie. Sophie was by far so easy to design. She has my favorite hair from Aurora combined with Ariel, purple eyes like Tamaki from Host Club. She has like just the outfits I wish I could wear because I don't look good in like puffy things. So like I could have as many bows and Peter Pan collars and foofy skirts, and she was so much fun to design and so easy. Yeah, not much of her has changed. One of the more difficult was definitely Pancake, especially in the pilot. Like, he has like no model sheet. It's really hard to draw him because he's like a very chubby cat, so he doesn't have like the correct like cat anatomy. So I've been drawing him more and more recently, and he has definitely fleshed out a lot more. So he looks a lot better in the more recent things like Sophie's Picnic Panic, the animated short that, goodness, I probably started years ago at this point. All right, so next question. Angela Barrera asks, which fast foods do you like? Ooh, so especially since current events, I haven't been able to eat out very often, but I always enjoy a burrito bowl from Chipotle. Otherwise, I do love McDonald's French fries. Those are delicious. Viola asks, what are the best programs or apps for animating? So I love Toon Boom Harmony. I do like the medium version. So it's not like the industry standard version, which is like the ultimate one. It's not like the beginner version either. It's my favorite by far. It's super intuitive, especially like the paint bucket tool. I really like it. I honestly taught it to myself my senior year of college. And if you know Flash, it's like a much classier version of Flash. And we also did the app a couple weeks ago. You can check out that video. I explore it for the very first time. Cat Entertainment asks, do you plan a Christmas episode for Demonic Crepes? And I would love to do a Christmas special for Demonic Crepes. I think that would be so totally awesome. It would be amazing. Hopefully when the show takes off a little more, I think that would be fun. But for right now, I can really just, all I have time for is the little pictures that I send out to my patrons on Patreon and things like that. Essie Chan asks, what did Sophie's first design look like? This is a great question. So Sophie, like I said, hasn't really changed much since her first iteration. The thing that was the most different was her eyes changing. And you guys know I did like a very simplistic design because it was much easier to animate as one person. So I kind of did like the smiley face thing where like her head was like an ellipses tool, and then her eyes were just two like, ovals copied and pasted next to each other with two eyelashes. So she started off with real eyes when she was in the comics, I believe, or like the original comic. I think I only have like one illustration of her, and she's the biggest difference was she was brunette like me. And then I'm like, now I'll make her blonde. Yellow stands out more, and it looks great with gray and Pancake's gray. So biggest change was she was brunette. Ratty Dust asks, what helps you to fall asleep? And I have a much better task of falling asleep nowadays. But when I was all the way since like the day I was born, I have not been able to fall asleep ever. I would just never drift. And so something that really helped me pass the hours trying to drift off was I would tell myself a story. So I would start a narrative in my head, and I would just play out the story, and I would kind of pick up the next night where I left off the previous night, and it would go on for years. Like years and years. Every night I would tell myself the next part of the story and just make it up as I went along, and it was really, really, really fun. And so that's what I did to fall asleep because I had a very hard time. Otherwise, diet, exercise, go to bed early, don't, turn off your phone, all that good stuff. Pineapple Blanket asks, what is your favorite non-animation show? I love Dance Academy. Dance Academy is this Australian show about a competitive ballet. I guess you would call it a high school. It's like a performing arts school. And I love the characters. I love the setting. I never really watched any Australian TV shows. And it's funny. It's cool. It's incredibly interesting. If you guys didn't know, I'm like totally obsessed with ballet. So I love Dance Academy. Majid Hanas asks, hi, Lily. I'm asking when you will upload the pilot episode. Quick note, I really appreciate your hard work, and I know that it takes a long time to animate, so good luck. Thank you so much. That's really sweet. So I really want to release it soon. I'm in contact with Carolina about the theme song, and unfortunately, because of current events, communication has been pretty difficult because she is not in the same country as I am. So we're 404 Coffee Not Found asked, in terms of creating characters, how can you get them to mesh or fit in with the cast? And how can you purposely ignore this to make them stand out? So with my show in particular, and I do this even like when I'm drawing character sheets and stuff, I imagine scenarios. So I try to think, okay, so here's Sophie. Sophie's impulsive and she doesn't really do what you expect. She kind of subverts expectations in just about everything. And so, but she's perky and sweet. So what is the opposite of perky and sweet? It's somebody who's kind of curmudgeon-y and everything like that. So Pancake's curmudgeon-y and stuff like that. And I just kind of got some opposites. I wanted to create, like problems for them so everyone doesn't get along like totally well. So to Sophie's kind of carefree, fun attitude, I added Kiyoshi, who is kind of like a conspiracy theorist who thinks Pancake is a demon. And then along with that, I added Anna because Anna is like extra chill to, Kiyoshi's freaking outness. So I kind of got my main characters and then I went from there and asked like who would they totally not get along with and who would they totally get along with. And that's where I got Alistair. I wanted a kind of more combative enemy to romance or whatever, rival for her. So yeah, I'm also planning some other characters. Like I'm thinking about maybe having a manga artist character that's kind of her rival too. So yeah, I'm thinking about things. The Magic of Art asks, what inspired you to become an artist? And it sounds cheesy, but there's really nothing I'd rather do. I love being an artist. It's been in me ever since I was a kid. I just loved drawing, and it makes me really happy and excited. I've always loved telling stories, and it's just something I really wanted to share. And something that really inspired me to be an artist is watching The Little Mermaid when I was a kid. I was so fascinated and so drawn in to the movie, and then The Incredibles in 2004 inspired me to be an animator. Kathy the Cat asks, what came first for Demonic Crepes, the story or the characters? That's a great question. So like I mentioned earlier, the characters came first. It was a one-panel comic, and from there I created the world around this pancake character, and then from the world I created like situations and locations and apartments and all that stuff. So the characters actually came first, but they all kind of moosh around and mesh in your brain after a while. Sincerely Sam asks, what advice would you give for people who want to get into animation? This is an excellent question. So as someone who is not a professional animator quite yet, unless you, no, I don't work for a studio. However, I would recommend really getting to know your craft. Of course, nowadays is so much easier than when I went to school, because you can just watch YouTube tutorials like this one right here, you know? So to get into animation, a lot of things I've read about, and I went to some talks at CTN, and they really say, like, you have to move to California, and you have to, like, at least visit and see if it's kind of the place that you want to be. And now, since the current events, it seems a lot more likely that we might be able to be more distant workers. So I would say some advice. First of all, you have to know if this is the path for you. It's going to be much harder than you think. Like, if you think of something that's like super tedious, it's 4 times more tedious than what you think. And it's going to be taxing. It's going to be difficult. I remember in college, there was never one project I did where something unexpectedly didn't go wrong. Like, it always went wrong in like the weirdest way. Like, you would shoot the whole thing. Everything's great. You would save your file. You would close everything out, you go to look at your file, and it's corrupted. Like, hours of work. And that's just like normal all the time. You would animate one thing, and then, it would just, it just won't work out. And so you have to have like a super, super thick skin. You have to be kind. You got to be good. Nobody wants to work with a snob or someone who wants their way all the time. I had group projects when I was in school where people were like, it's my way or the highway. And it's like, oh no, this is a group project, baby. So be sure you have a tough skin, and be cool. And of course, hone your skills and do things that make you happy. Taryn Carter asks, advice for comic manga artists. Happy December. Happy December to you too. This is one of my favorite months ever. So I am not a professional comic or manga artist. I really, really enjoy comics and manga. I love making comics. I love reading them. But like, I've never had my stuff on shelves. Not yet anyway. So some advice is I would definitely watch some tutorials and see how people kind of stage their panels. I would also look into Understanding Comics. It's a book I had in my graphic novels class. Some of the best things to learn from is just getting all types of manga, comic books from different artists, and studying like how they use their textures and how they kind of use the flow of the pages. Obviously, manga is going to be pretty different from comics, but you can always do a mix of the two. I found something that I have in volume 2 of my comic book that I really found unique that I was doing upon rereading was that I would draw like an animator. So there'd be like in between frames as panels. Like, I have this part where Sophie's looking at Mr. Ichigo-san, and then she turns, and the turning panel, her eyes are like closed and her hair swishing in between frames, and like that's something that's like kind of odd. But I realized, like, hey, that just shows the hand of the animator. Maybe it's tacky, maybe it's gross, who knows? So definitely do your research and get started. Just do it. Don't even worry about it. I looked into some like inking sets and stuff like that for Christmas this year, so that's very exciting. So try all sorts of things. Mochiness asked, Any lesser known web animations you'd recommend? Personal favorites for me is Epithet Erase and Sublo and Tangy Mustard. I haven't heard of any of those. Also, what's Picnic Panic? I admire your work ethic and hope you have a great day. Thank you. Right back at you. Feelings mutual. I hope you have a great day. Okay, so first question was any lesser known web animations? Yes. So it's coming out January 2021. One of my friend's co-workers is coming out with a series called Long Gone Gulch, and it looks like so amazing. It looks really, really funny and like full of life, and I don't know how many people worked on that, but I know she's not doing it alone. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Of course, Hazbin Hotel for the more adult crowd out there is very interesting as well, and she also has a team on that. And it's crazy how they really like just pump out content. It's crazy. Also, Picnic Panic, Sophie's Picnic Panic is an animated short from Demonic Crepes, which I think I'm almost finished it. The problem is the moment I finished it, I had to leave my state for current events. And I left everything behind. So I don't have the files and I didn't upload it to my drive because I'm silly. So I'm going to fix all that soon. So Picnic Panic is basically, it was supposed to be between the pilot and the episode 2. So it was going to be like a space keeper in between so people wouldn't get bored with me. So it's basically a jump into the future to give you a better feel of the show. So it's not a direct episode 2, it's just kind of like a randomly placed thing. So she already has the transdimensional key and stuff like that. And it's about how Sophie goes on a picnic during the Cherry Blossom Festival in Japan, and there's a monster that's eating everyone's picnic baskets, and she's got to stop him with her cheesecake powers. I honestly just really want to play around with the magical girl element of the show. And that is all for the questions. And now for the very fun announcement of why the heck I am putting so much time into redesigning Sophie's apartment. And that's because starting, I think, next year of 2021, I am starting episode 2 of Demonic Crepes. I have a lot of free time on my hands, and I'm getting new equipment shipping in, which is why I won't be till the new year. And yeah, I'm going to be working on episode 2. It'll follow the comic book that I am also working on. So I'm really, really excited. I just decided, like the pilot, I'm just going to go for it. And I'm excited for this episode because we are going to have a really fun monster that I love. And we're going to meet Alistair. And the scary thing about it is, like, I need a voice actor for him. And I need a Mr. Ichigo voice actor. So there's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm very excited about that. And so I decided I want to do a complete style revamp of the show. Not that the pilot's not good. It's just I've grown as an artist, obviously. Probably the most I ever have in the past couple of years. So I will be changing the animation style most likely. I'll see how comfortable I am with it. And I want to do better backgrounds because it's never been my strong suit. So I'm trying to push the show, and I want to make it more the way I like it. So that's the exciting news, starting episode 2. I'm also planning a future giveaway. I will be doing my island tour of my Animal Crossing island, and with that, I will be doing a giveaway. So I'll definitely look forward to that. Shout out to our patrons on Patreon: Impro Comics, Nadir, Justin R. Williams, Javier Mendez, and Nico Weaver. Thank you so much for your support, especially during this time. If you guys want to be a patron, go ahead to patreon.com/Bubblegum Cartoons. Every month we have an exclusive print, which is very exciting, and the matcha lattes and above will get a hand-drawn sketch every single month just for you. Until next time, guys, stay inspired.